Mayong adlaw para sa lang sa mga wala ka attend last Sunday ug maayo ang discussion kabahin sa storya ni Moises ug ang iyang story was really the story of the Messiah, the coming Messiah Jesus. So wala gi pasagdan sa Ginoo that uh, the people of the old sa mga karaan, they will be blind sa unsay mga buhaton o trabaho sa Mesiyas. So when we look at the stories of the Old Testament, we are really looking at the story of Jesus. Different lang ng mga perspective coming from the Garden of Eden, labi na katong provision of covering na naay animal nga unang halad, sumala pa sa atong pagtuon. And then even in the story of Abraham and Noah, we know that a lot of those stories were really picturing Jesus the Messiah, ang iyang trabaho. And even down the line, here kang Moses. Now, pariyagid kayo ang ilang mga istorya, labi na sa ilang circumstances surrounding ang ilang birth. So, sa birth ni Moses, there was a plan to kill the firstborn son of the Hebrews. Ingon sila nga Hebrews or Hebrewanon tungod sa ilang lingwahe. And they were identified because of the language, because they were in a foreign country in Egypt. Ito makita nga mao gyapon ang tabuk ang Jesus in his incarnation, di ba, when he was born, and that was what we remembered last December during Christmas time or Advent, the beginning of Advent, nga nagpakatao siya. And also there was a plan to kill the firstborn son of Israel at that time, because the king knew nga naay king, na ang king na si Herod, he knew that there was a king who was born, the king of Israel, and he was threatened about that. So motong nabaluman siya nga one day in history, okay, Israel was also powerful, so dili layo nga may tabo nga they could rise up again in power. Same gyapon sa circumstances dili sa Egypt sa panahon ni Moises, di ba? They were so afraid, the Egyptians were so afraid nga nidagan na sila, and they could be politically powerful and overcome them. So motong pamatay ang mga firstborn nga anak sa Israel, ang ilang mga lalaking anak, pwede na sila mudaghan. So nagi pagkapareha. Okay? Actually, it really speaks, the story of Moses speaks about the story of the Messiah. That's why we could not get that story for ourselves. Now, nasayod ko nga mga itong naandan sa una pa, sa panahon sa religion o legalismo, nga basta wali ni Moses, it talks about obedience, o ato pong obedience, mong dili mao gayon. Because as Jesus said, the Bible is speaking about him from the writings of Moses until the writing of the prophets, and even Moses himself. So we could say, and we could really understand from Jesus nga those stories were really about him. Tungod kay wala pa man siya pre-incarnate. Ingon dito, he is the firstborn among all of us. Wala gingon first created. No, because he was not created. He was the one who created us. But he was the firstborn among us. So nauna siya, the pre-existent Christ. Before the incarnation, he was already there. That's really way beyond our minds to understand. But that's who God is. So, mao ni karon, ato lang itan-aw nga kining trabaho sa Mesiyas was really a messy job. And that's why ang first reaction gayon, it was a difficult job, it entails sacrifice, and that's why Moses gyud, ang iya gayong reaction was to really namalibad yun siya. Okay? Dili gid siya gusto sa trabaho, and he was saying send somebody else. But it's very interesting also the parallelism nga not only the parallelism between the work of the Messiah and the work that was being given to Moses at that time, and it was difficult, it was messy, entails telling the Pharaoh to let the people go, and of course ang other pa ng mga details ato man na nasayran. Pero ang kagwapo lang, ang kalainan lang yun, of course Jesus himself was faithful sa iyang trabaho na gihatag sa iya, diba? Until the end, even until the death of the cross, he was faithful. And that's the difference, because Moses was human, he still needed the Savior, the Messiah. So dito lang nagkalain ang trabaho. But anyway, Moses still did it, all because of the power of God, the backing of God, the tawag ani ang pagpuno sa Ginoo sa kakulangon ni Moises. Mao man to ang importante. That's why when he was complaining, he was namalibad siya sa trabaho, Tagaan sa Ginoo og mga butang nga naharap pod siyang kinabuhi. And these things actually also are a reminder of the Messiah. Number one, the shepherd staff. Naay mong staff. O ilabay, pudyuta, and of course, there was the miracle of the snake. And of course, if they still not believe you, ingon siya, there's your cloak, ang iyang coat. Ibutang imong kamot, na ay igawas ang imong kamot sa cloak, and there will be skin disease, put it back, and it will be well. Nabalik lang. And then, malibad pagyapon si Moises, and there's the water. Okay? Kuha daw siya tubig sa Nile River, and then turn it into blood, kundi pag sila maminaw. And then the fourth one, it was his brother. Now, interesting lang, I think I said last Sunday that Moses was the elder brother. No, it was Aaron actually. And Moses was still the younger brother. So that really gives us the difference, because we know that Jesus was really the older brother, the one who was really faithful in our Father's house. So Moses was still the younger brother who will also benefit from the work of the Messiah. And so with us, apil kita, even Israel, we are all the younger brother, and we benefit from the work of the Messiah, Jesus Himself. So, mao ni ang gihatag sa Ginoo sa iya, the staff. It was a reminder that our Messiah is the Savior. He's a shepherd. Okay? And then, of course, the cloak. It also reminds us the covering of the Messiah for us. Okay, mura man ang ilang coat. I said during Jesus' time, it was identified with the beggars. Many of the beggars, they would wear cloak. Kaya naman sila sa gawas magpuyo. So, they were identified when you are using a cloak, you are a beggar. It just signifies that you are an outsider. So, dagan kayo meaning sa cloak. But at this time, it was covering. That's why when Moses was covered with the cloak, everything was fine. Even ang yung skin na ayo. And then, of course, the river, the water from the river. Water itself. Now, water is both a destruction agent. Okay? It could be flooded with water, mamatay ka. And it could also be a cleansing agent. Paradoxical po kayo na siya. But of course, this time, it was a destruction agent. Moto nga turn, nahimo ang tubig sa Nile River into blood. And then, kung di pas lang mo to, there was Aaron, okay, the younger brother, or the elder brother, nga mo'y nag-represent, mo'y nahimog spokesperson ni Moises. So, all in all, sa tanan nagihatag sa Ginoo nga trabaho kang Moises, God really already equipped him. Ingon pang Ginoo, I will be there with you, I will be with you, I will tell you what to do, what to say. Okay? You just wait on me, you rely on me. So Moses, he still had to trust the Lord. Salig gihapon niya sa Ginoo. So, naay paralelism sa atong kinabuhi nga mao gyapon, the moment we have become mga anak sa Ginoo tungod sa pagtuo diha kay Kristo, and gitagaan kita sa pagkamatarong, nagikan usab kang Kristo dili atuwa. And basically, that's what we have in life. Ingon pa dito, we are blessed with this one. Ingon pa dito, ingon pa sa unang Pedro, we have been given all things, and that all things comes in a package called Jesus Christ. Ang iyang trabaho para sa atuwa, nagihatag niya sa atuwa. And we had an exchange. We exchanged our sinfulness, and He gives us His righteousness. And that's what we have right now. Same with Moses. He had a shepherd's staff, he had the cloak, he had the water, and he had his older brother. The same thing with us. We have Jesus, our shepherd. We have the cloak, the covering of Christ, okay, of His righteousness. We have the water that cleanses us. It reminds us during baptism that we are forgiven. It's not a ritual. Baptism is a reminder that we have been washed of our sins. And then we have an elder brother, Jesus Himself. So amazing lang kayo ang paralelism ani ng mga istorya. So hope it becomes a blessing to all of us as we learn about these things.